Good morning, it's the 9th of April 2025. It's a glorious day here in Ireland. The rivers are actually getting low. Uh, right, I make videos on vintage and most people enjoy them and think they're good. There's a huge interest in that. There are many programs about restoring antiques and that on television. And yet, no matter what you put on, there's always someone to complain. If you look at that microwave oven there, in the background, see that microwave there? That microwave oven is easily 35 years old. And that has a little spindle in the bottom that twists around the food in it as you heat it. It's a 600 watt. And I had it at home a month when it broke. In other words, the little motor that spins it burst out. That's the plastic that that the spindle was inserted into, and it went up through, and the plate went on top of it. And I simply made a clasp. I drilled out a piece of brass, things a little smaller than the outside of the what do you call it, the little thing that went down on it. This had a cutter on it. There was no splice, just a cutter, a piece filed away or milled away. And I tightened that with a bolt. I made a little, like a Jubilee clip, only it was made of brass, and it had a strong bolt, and it could tighten up very tight. It's there 35 years, still doing a great job and being used. Now, so this is my view. I don't see what is environmentally friendly about throwing out things with nothing, only a fuse gone or some little minor thing. I had a washing machine, a Tor washing machine. I had it for 21 years, and I replaced the bearings in it twice by myself. Now, the thing is, this type of thing is spurned on. There's always someone saying, oh no, you're a mean old devil or whatever. And we see two comments here. We see the usual Joe Hayes. He's pontificating, oh, what we say in the trade. I mean, he just happens to be qualified, or happens to work as a plumber, or one of those very limited professions that uses silver solder and brazing. How come they are all qualified in everything? This Joe Hayes is qualified in everything. If I was talking about growing tomatoes, I'd be doing it all my life. There's nothing he hasn't been doing. Nothing. Isn't that a strange thing? But he makes mention of some people have remedies there for the silver soldering problem, and I claim that the remedy is to use what's recommended, which is high silver content silver hard solder with flux, and it works grand. Others say you can use brass by putting steel behind it and heating up the block of steel, and how you do that. It seems a bit far-fetched, and that's all right. But Joe Hayes says they call the excess silver, or whatever he's talking about, snots, S-N-O-T-S, snots. Well, I have read books and books. I've been in this trade working in my time, and I work with others, and I've never ever heard the word snots applied to anything to do with soldering of any kind, or welding or anything else. Never. What snots is commonly referred to is in the building trade, where you have two blocks. So we'd say you have two blocks, two blocks, usually a 4-inch and a 4-inch and a 4-inch cavity in between, making a total of 12 inches of a wall. Now, these are held together by wall ties. So when you have the top of the block like this, you place a wall tie, a piece of stainless steel, or sometimes they're made of galvanized steel, and this goes across, and then the next block is placed on top of that. Do you know what I mean? And that keeps the two halves tight. Usually once they're built, they won't go far anywhere, but it mainly keeps them in place while they're being built. But it's good practice, and it's necessary. The engineers and architects will insist you have wall ties, and they're placed at a certain distance. Now, if the builder is paid by the hour, he sticks in the wall tie. We'll say there's a big version of it here. It's just a wee candle pack. He sticks in the wall tie, and he builds away. It's some humming. The problem is that the mortar, which will usually contain amortisizer or lime to soften it up and make it pliable and run well, that will often fall down on the tie. So it'll fall down here, and that forms a piece of mortar across the tie, across the top of the tie, and that's called snots. It comes from probably phlegm out the mouth or nose, but that's what a snot is. It's a piece of mortar that falls on top of the wall tie, or it could fall here. It tends to catch it, and then the moisture will come across the mortar when it hardens. So you'll see little wet spots inside in the wall. So if you're looking inside in the wall and the snots are not cleaned, then you will see a little bit of moisture where it's coming through. When I build, I always go around in the evening time or every couple of days and knock them off with a big stick. You can get a long stick and knock them off. And when you do that, then it's perfect. But it's just that builders coming up near evening time won't bother doing it. That's the snot. So Joe Hayes is wrong there in that. The other one then is this guy John Moore, and he says we're talking about scrap iron. Is it not quite obvious in the video I made on vintage that it's the inside of an old washing machine, which is stainless steel, and that the video is not to produce something but to demonstrate the techniques, the limitations for people who may not have experience in it, and to pick the most cost-effective method, which is to pick a silver solder with about 31% silver in it. You're not too bad there, and for certain things you need 56%. But he's talking about scrap, and he's talking about don't be fixing anything. I mean, in his way of thinking, this what do you call it? Microwave oven should be in the scrap heap years ago. You go out to the dump, out to the landfill, you see rows and rows of 2-year-old machines, and they tell us that's good for the environment. And the reason is that, like a Joe Hayes and John Moore, couldn't fix anything. Get a new one. Well, you can do that, but you're going to cut your profits. I do my own repairs, do it every year this year. I don't mind doing it. And then I have my machine the way I want it. I mean, you take a tractor or Hitachi digger, or indeed a microwave oven or a washing machine. The parts in that are very good. The only thing that goes is the bearings in the washing machine. The tractor, there may be seals and that need to go in it, but the general tractor will last for years. There are vintage tractors made in the 60s running, Fordsons made in the 30s. There's steam engines 100 years of age. So this idea that once one part goes, you should dump the whole thing, to my notion, is wasteful and it's ludicrous. It is ignorance of the highest order. In fact, I believe there should, instead of taking all those, imagine they get in China, they make a washing machine in China. They use all that coal and steel and everything. They come along and they sell it. It's kept for 2 years in Ireland. It's put in the dump. It's redone again. Everything has to be redone. What is wrong? And the motors out of those washing machines are perfect and can be used for other applications. Copper and all. And there's silver, some of it, in some of the machines as well. So I think, it just shows you there is a fundamental difference in my way of thinking and that of a small minority of people. And you see, in business, that's where you make your money. Some military strategist said the most important thing in a war or a battle is if your enemy is getting it wrong, don't wise them up. Don't tell them. So that's the way. But I'm on here a different thing for the good of my subscribers. And I met a person one day in the pub. He come over. No, I met him, sorry. He was coming out of a pub after having a mart or something. And I was going by. Oh, he says, I used your block switch stop thing to stop cattle dirty in the drinks. And I had 20 years of hard work every morning cleaning out the drinkers. And he says, I put your blocks in, as you said in your video. And he says, never look back. So that was one. Now, I could have never made that video. And Joe Hayes would be very happy. And John Moore would be very happy. But that man would not be happy. You must remember, for every 1 or 2 critics, I have nearly 10,000 now that are appreciative and find the thing interesting. There's always people who are negative, and it's not always bad people. There are people who are negative. I knew them and worked with them. No matter what you'd go to do, they'd have a oh, you can't do that. Oh, you can't do that. You can do anything you put your mind to. Folks, comment underneath. We'll see you back soon. Bye.